All right, let's dive into Maura Dooley's gorgeous poem, Letters from Yorkshire. Now, if you're tackling the AQA Love and Relationships cluster for your GCSEs, you absolutely need to know this one. But honestly, it asks a question that pretty much all of us have thought about at some point. So, what's that big question? Well, it's this. Can a real, genuine connection actually survive distance? When you're living completely different lives, miles and miles apart? That's the core idea here, so let's keep that in the back of our minds as we see how Dooley tackles it. And spoiler alert, right at the very end, Dooley gives us her answer, and it is a huge, powerful yes. This line, it's just incredible. It paints this picture of a connection that's so deep, it's not even physical anymore. It's like their souls are talking directly to each other, completely bypassing the cold, hard fact that they're miles apart. Okay, a tale of two worlds. To really get why that final line is so powerful, we've got to rewind to the beginning. See, Dooley sets the stage by showing us two people in two totally different worlds. It's all about the contrast. So let's take a look at what those worlds are actually like. And wow, she establishes this contrast fast. Look at this. His world, it's all physical, right? Digging, planting potatoes, breaking ice. You can almost feel the cold and smell the earth. It's totally grounded in nature. But her world, it's different. It's internal, lived through a screen. You've got headlines and feeding words. It's a life of information, not so much physical experience.
Right, life on the land. Let's dig a bit deeper into his world first. Dooley paints this incredible picture of a life that's just, it's real. It's tied to the earth, the seasons, and that feeling you get from working with your hands.
The poem literally opens with him, right in the thick of it. He's out there in February, digging, planting. He's not just in the garden, he's basically part of its rhythm. He sees the first lapwings return. His life is synced up with the seasons, with nature's clock, not the one on a screen.
And this quote, this is just brilliant. His knuckles singing. Think about that. They're not aching or sore from the cold and the work. No, they're singing. What an amazing choice of word. It suggests this real joy and energy in what he's doing. It's not about pain, it's about feeling alive, deeply connected to his work.
Okay, so now let's flip over to her world. A view from the screen. It's a complete contrast. A life that feels way less direct, It's filtered through technology and language, not mud and weather. And look at how she describes her life. She's got a heart full of headlines. So her world is full of news, things happening somewhere else, experienced secondhand. And she's feeding words onto a blank screen. That verb, feeding, sounds so mechanical, doesn't it? Especially when you put it next to his digging and planting. It just doesn't feel as alive. This all leads her to ask this really vulnerable question. You can feel her insecurity here, can't you? Maybe even a little bit of envy. She's genuinely wondering if his life, this physical, hands-in-the-dirt life, is somehow more authentic, more real than her own. And that's a question that really makes you stop and think about your own life, too. Right, forging a connection. So you have these two people in these completely separate worlds. How on earth do they connect? Well, this is where the poem's heart is. They bridge that huge gap with something simple, something almost old-fashioned, a letter. And this is the line. It's just so beautiful. He doesn't just send her words about his world, no. He's pouring air and light into an envelope. It's this incredible metaphor that tells us his letters aren't just ink on paper. They are literally carrying the life force of his world directly to her. Okay, for your exam, let's really pull this metaphor apart because it's packed with meaning. Air and light. Those are the basic ingredients for life itself, right? And the word pouring, it's not putting or placing, it's pouring. It's this generous, flowing, life-giving action. So a simple, everyday envelope gets transformed into this magical container carrying life itself. His letters are literally nourishing her. Tearing apart a quote like this in your essay, that's going to get you some serious marks. All right, let's shift gears into full-on exam mode. We're going to pull all these ideas together and look at the key themes and the structure of the poem. You need to know this stuff for a top-grade analysis. So what are the big ideas here? You've got these major themes running all the way through. First, obviously, strong connections that last despite distance. Then there's that huge contrast between nature and modern city life. And underneath it all, it's really about the incredible power of communication. Make sure you're hitting these points in your essay. Now, let's talk structure. The poem is written in something called free verse. All that means is there is no regular rhyme or rhythm, no da-doom beat. It's written to sound like natural speech. And trust me, that is a very deliberate choice by the poet. So why do it? What's the point of using free verse? Well, it makes the whole thing feel really natural and personal, almost like you're listening to someone just talking to you. It feels sincere. But here's the clever bit. Even though the lines don't rhyme, they're grouped into these neat, steady three-line stanzas. We call those tercets. And that steady structure, that visual consistency on the page, it perfectly mirrors the steady, stable, ongoing nature of their relationship. See? The form reflects the meaning. It's brilliant. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a big question to chew on for your exam revision. Think about comparison. How does the connection we see here, across distance, stack up against the connection across time in a poem like Simasini's Follower? Which one is stronger? That spiritual link across the icy miles, or the bond between father and son that completely changes over the years? Getting your head around a comparison like that is a fantastic way to prepare.